Humanity. The destructivity within is like a time bomb in each human heart, which must eat out our souls and leave them rotting down to waste like offals worse than any litter. We are all, as human beings, human wrecks, a failed humanity that goes to ruin, trying to bring with us in our fall our entire planet, nature, life and future. But as that accomplished failure which all humankind hopelessly is, we will not even bring that ruin home, but perish well ahead of nature and all else. How laughable is this pathetic humankind! All history went wrong, and we got nothing right, and here we are, the crown of all creation, the most miserable fool that ever could exist. Beauty's fault. What is wrong with beauty? People oftentimes react to it like to a provocation, as if the existence of pure beauty were an insult which must be acted on with violation, as if the sole purpose of its sheer existence was to be put down and raped and quieted, as if beauty was a general disturbance which must be dismantled. All the same, true beauty will continue to persist and multiply and ever grow more beautiful, since that is the essential character of beauty. No one can do anything about it unless they tolerate it, let it be and cultivate it, like a garden, tended well, allowed all freedom, and appreciated for her charm and inspiration, loved and made good use of as the main expander and developer of love. Creation. Our love goes round and round in perpetual and energetic circulation, never stopping but increasing and accelerating, like a true perpetuum mobile that ever goes on faster, and yet we never tire of our love, as if it constantly regenerated like a phoenix in renewing restoration, and the more so for its self-consumption, as if wasting made you only richer. Somehow we have reached some kind of strange ideal love situation where we never can be rid of one another, while at the same time we don't want to. While our love increases for its practice, uniquely furthering creation which we can't be held responsible for, although we sustain, uphold and further it, but only as an absolutely natural and obvious process, which by analysis would seem perfectly miraculous, but which for us is only being true to what we are. Falling dark angel, the blackness of your spirit is its special beauty, darkness charmingly becoming you and adding to your irresistibility. For in that gloomy darkness there is depth and wisdom almost without end and without bottom, luring anyone to enter and to stay without returning. It looks dangerous, but is the opposite, and being used to it, you find it natural and will not do without it. So keep on descending, fallen angel, ever to more gruesome depths, and I will follow you, not as a slave bound to addiction, but as a lover with a grateful heart. Thankfulness. My thankfulness is without limits for the life and health that was returned to me after a gutter trial and ordeal of pain and dirt and torture and insufferable disability. My absolute inadequacy turning me into a total good-for-nothing, feeling more than miserable and done in. But suddenly the weather changed. I rose up from the depths and from the dead into the sunlight to be active once again, returning gloriously to work and even getting back some old efficiency. How could I be but grateful, beyond any measure of conception, jubilant in happiest humility, and hoping for the life of me to never get struck down again to that abyssal bottom of existence. Tacksamhet. Min tacksamhet är utan gränser för den hälsa och det liv som återgavs mig efter en förfärlig rännstensprövning av mest plågor, mardrömmar, tortyr och outhärdlig invaliditet, som gjorde mig fullkomligt oduglig till allt, mer miserabel och eländig än en död. Men plötsligt vände situationen. Jag återvände från de dödas avgrunder till ljuset för att än en gång bli aktiv och härligt kunna återuppta arbetet och till och med i någon grad bli effektiv igen. Hur kan jag vara annat då än tacksam, bortom alla gränser för vad man kan föreställa sig, och jubla lycklig i all ödmjukhet försiktigt med en innerlig förhoppning om att aldrig mera ramla så djupt ner till botten av en avgrundsexistens. The mystery of love. The mystery of love is infinite, transforming people into other beings, transcending life to make it higher, and performing miracles with personalities, developing their souls to almost anything, since love is freedom above all, for creativity and the imaginative force to realize, accomplish, and succeed in almost anything, creation being first of mysteries of life's existence, without which life would not be at all, while it begins and ends with love. There in between there is a universe of possibilities where nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible. Ageless beauty. If beauty is true, it does not fade, but on the contrary increases with maturity and age, and wrinkles cannot spoil it. You are an example of this strange phenomenon of love and beauty only growing with the years in depth and in attraction, although we do not grow younger but instead increase in timelessness. That is perhaps the essence of true beauty, that which never fades but instead increases only, like a flower never dying but expanding like a tree, to ever grow more firm and lovely, to never die. For that is the true mark of beauty. She can never die. Love backfire. As I love you, more with my heart than with my body, more with my soul than intellectually, more with my mind than with my brains, you vanish to withdraw into some nothingness, in a vain effort to a kind of self-effacement, only to an opposite effect. The clearer and more lovable and gracious you appear, and the more solicitously I must love you. It is in vain you claim to be a fake and come with futile warnings. They must only have a direct opposite effect, like fuel into a fire that can never die. And that is how love works. The more you fight it, the more you must lose against it, for the stronger it becomes. How love goes on. Sexuality does not retard with age. On the contrary, it continues to expand. Love must always find new ways, new channels of expression, new languages of feelings, new dimensions and new dreams, and nothing ever can contain or stop it. Never be afraid of love and its expressions, and especially not as you grow with age and wisdom. Love always being and remaining your life's leader, and its source and motor, teacher and ideal, that ever leads and reaches forward even beyond death. Fåfängans martyrium. Livet är bara lidande, i synnerhet för martyrer. Det som känner det mest, offer för sin egen överkänslighet, som bara tilltar med åren, varför många begår självmord av livets outhärdlighet, då denna ständigt accelererar och ökar med tyngd och stress, som ständigt pressar dem djupare ner i förnedringens obotliga träsk, som bara drar ner och aldrig upprättar. Vad kan man då göra åt saken? Det finns bara en sak att göra. Att fortsätta arbeta tills man dör. Att stupa på sin post är till och med för martyrerna något av en personlig seger trots allt, även om den är den minsta tänkbara. To you, Longing for you is keeping me alive with dreams and charms of long ago that clearly tend to immortality, or at least to timelessness, for there's no higher beauty than the dreams of you that are too real to not be true and more convincing than reality. Wherefore I will stick to them with faith of limitless endurance and willingly continue building on them for a monument for you, that will establish the most natural and obvious fact, that our love belongs as much to immortality as to ourselves in our modest piety. For a monument for you that will establish the most natural and obvious fact, that our love belongs as much to immortality as to ourselves in our modest piety. Love's supremacy. Love demands expansion. Love demands expansion, free expansion evermore, and no one has the right to stop it, and indeed no one is able to. Love therefore seems to be of forces the most ruthless, but love is not love if it resorts to violence. The magic and the force of love is always to get through, but without all enforcement, always getting over with it and surviving, as the very element of life's survival and expansion. And whoever tries to stop or to oppose it is a self-destructive fool, incapable of education and instruction, since if he does not know love, he is a hopeless case of total ignorance. Kulturen. Vår kulturverkstad drabbas av ständigt nya nedskärningar. Vi har inte råd att uppdatera våra datorprogram. Våra anställda ger ständigt mindre arbetstid. Hälften av våra lokaler har vi tvingats hyra ut. Bokförlagen ger ut ständigt färre titlar. Och tidskriftsdöden griper omkring sig som en tystnadsepidemi. Kulturen är en slagen gammal kvinna som ständigt måste huka sig och finna sig i att vara tiggerska och hänvisad till fattighuset. Man drar alltid ner på henne. Hon är ju inte nödvändig men kostar bara pengar. Hon är en onödig lyx. Och eftersom hon ej är aggressiv och inte kan försvara sig och saknar tänder, liksom hänsynslöshetens vapen, kan man lugnt marginalisera henne. Och hålla henne på avstånd, medan hon får huka sig för slagen av ett ständigt hårdare samhälles gatlopp och vandra vidare och vara glad för att hon alls får privilegiet att få överleva. Your beauty. Everybody loves you, seeing you as the ideal you are. Your influence of beauty being timeless, like, as you say, as if it was inspired by the rulers of the ancient times, when nature was religion and supreme as such, and led and dominated by high priestesses of love. Bring back those times with all their blessings, and use your holy influence to reinstate world order under the command of nature and her purity and beauty. Maybe you could do it, for I know the total beauty of your soul and what such an endowment could be capable of, and what such an endowment could be capable of, and what such an endowment could be capable of, while the outside superficial appearances are only lies for the protection of the almighty truth that is in your soul's beauty. Intuition. Your soul's truth is the only truth. Idealism is never wrong, while your senses are elements of deception, and wisdom and morale are an illusion. Intuition is the only stable compass and the hardest one to follow, since you never see it but can only feel it, and the senses tend to block it, but as long as you do not forget it, but keep it in your mind's direction, you cannot be wrong, or at least not entirely wrong. Let love lead the way. As the years go on, love does not get any milder, maybe slower, but with age more deep. Experience maturing and bearing fruit of wisdom, knowledge, intuition, understanding, insight, and a better sense. You go on falling deep in love and ever deep in You go on falling deep in love and ever deeper with the years, while constancy becomes the most important. The more you love, the less you want your love to change. Love is without season. There was once a dawn and spring of love, but that spring never ends, but goes forever on, as long as love keeps leading you, and there is never any reason why it shouldn't go on leading you forever. Dark idealism. Can idealism be dark? It depends. Idealism is never dark in itself as an idea, but if you, like so many do, confuse reality with your ideas, idealizing fakes and lies and deceptions by mistake, so as many do, then your idealism becomes an instrument of darkness and backfires on itself, causing harm and grave delusion, while on the other hand, reality can never be ideal and you cannot do without ideals. The art is to somehow project your ideals into reality and thus improve and change reality, not manipulating it but encouraging its better possibilities, thus helping it along to some improvement. That idealism can never turn to blackness. Constructiveness can never be an instrument of darkness, while lies, deceptions, and dishonesty can never last, especially not as ideals. Kärleksdikt. Du ljusstråle från ungdomen, du var min stora flamma under omgestaltningsårens turbulenser, och din kärlek var som solen i mitt liv så länge vår kontakt var stadig och ej andra kom emellan med sexuella monopolkrav som förintade vår harmoni. Men du fanns alltid där och återvände alltid troget, liksom du, när vi på nytt rök samman oförväntat mitt på torget och allt visade sig vara oförändrat. Kärleken fanns kvar trots 20 år av skilda vägar, och vi hade knappast vuxit alls. Det eviga beviset på sann kärlek. Ingenting förändras fastän allt förändras. Kärleken förblir densamma när den väl är sann, vad som än händer den och dess förvaltare. Och så är vi detsamma som för 20 år sedan, bara ännu mera så än förut. Remaining light of youth. My beam of youth, you were my flame in hard days of upheaval, constituting all my sunshine while our contact lasted, without others interrupting with absurd claims of relationship monopoly which ruined our harmony. But you were always there to ever faithfully come back, as now, when suddenly we found each other once again and in a parking lot, and everything was perfectly the same. Life was still there in spite of 20 years of separation, and we hardly had grown 1 year older. Ultimate syndrome and evidence of true love. Nothing changes, although everything has changed. Love remains the same when once found out as true, whatever happens to it and its victims. And thus, we are the same as 20 years ago, only even more so than before. Respectability. The problem of respectability is that you can't do anything not worthy of respect and can't be irrespectable. You are confined to your respectability and must respect it or you lose it. Maybe it is worth it. Many do and afterwards insist that they have nothing to regret. Perhaps they really don't, but still, most people hesitate to take that leap and risk, and many take an even greater risk instead, experimenting and developing a double life. a life of perfect watertight respectability, and on the other hand an underground activity of self-indulgence where there are no limits to what liberties are taken. It is good as long as they are not found out, and maybe it is recommendable to try. Respectability is, after all, a regular confinement, which all nature must rebel against, demanding freedom. Perfect love. My love, it does not matter whom you go to bed with, as long as I may love you still. You are my only love, and something tells me it is vice versa, although I know all your lovers. This is not the problem. Actually, there is no problem, since love conquers all and solves all problems by its mere serenity. Don't worry, dearest love. You have all freedom you can take, as long as I may have all freedom in my perfect love of you. Some predicament. Stuck in you and can't get out. But is it such a dreadful trap? I can't complain, but at the same time I'm aware of the apparent danger of this predicament becoming something of a habit. But if also you have no complaints, so let us just go on with sticking to each other as long as things are working out. It took some years to get together, but if this becomes intolerable with the years, a separation cut would be the easiest thing, and if we do it, we can always start again. Your birthday. I don't know if you are too good to be true, but you exist, and that's enough for me, since you exist for me at least, so that I at least can bear some witness of your beauty and maturity, and how they only seem to steadily increase, as if instead of growing older you grew younger towards ever more accentuated youth, that only seems more stable with the years. If youth thus could persist in growing younger, that would be the evidence of how the spirit rules the body and decides its state and not the contrary. Let me thus continue loving you, to thus increase the power of your spirit, so that you can steadily continue growing younger as long as I am here to love you and as long as I shall stay alive. Creation. There is only one creating force transcending all. That is the mind-imagination, which is all the creativity there is. There are no limits to the mind and its capacity. The universe is infinite, and so is the creative mind. And what is possible in your imagination is also possible in reality, provided that you think creatively and not just dream a lot of nonsense. I think Einstein would agree with me, who said that there would rather be a limit to the universe than to the mind and its capacity for limitless creation. The spell. You have cast a spell on me, and I am hopelessly, completely lost, and can't get out of the entanglement, since love compels me to be faithful. There is no other choice. The truth of love excludes all other possibilities, so I am stuck, delighting in it, since it means I'll never lose your company. Be with me always, my beloved, and I will try to never let you down, but on the contrary extol you, putting down some effort to live up to you, since you nevertheless will always be too good for me and always out of reach. The bleakness of reality. Reality is never pretty in its brutal ruthlessness of naked truth, but rather awesome and forbidding, let alone unhuman, not to say the least, a terrifying, hostile, monstrous cruelty that leaves no man alone in peace, but forces everyone to deadly lifelong struggle all the way down to the grave. Nothing can improve reality except romantic dreams and fantasies, your own imagination and idealism, which can at least improve reality by softening it to your mind and senses, and that is what we call creativity. We do not know if actually does improve reality, but we could hardly go on living if we were bereft of that last possibility and hope. Unconditionally, you made no conditions but left it all to me. You are free to break it up at any time. That was the one condition of our relationship, with the understatement from your side that you would never break it up yourself. I call that generously liberal for a condition, and we have never been without each other since that day. Divorces do not work for us, not even when we travel separately far apart, and nothing has brought us more close together than when we were separated by our journeys. Psychopathic spiritual obsession with each other as a constant substitute for marriage? Call it rather friendship and a natural relationship that not even nature can dissolve, since nature brought it on, uniting us. The light of your darkness. Let me bask in the sunlight of your darkness, more warming than the scorching tropical sun, and more enlivening than any energy. Your darkness has a special character of generously beaming and bestowing more light than any sun or star or supernova is capable of in the universe. You not only warm my heart, but fill my life with hope and joy by being vibratingly so dark, but in a sort of bottomless profundity, all filled with knowledge, love, and wisdom. Somehow you hold the key to anyone's heart, being qualified to read and look them through, not missing anything of any substance of their souls, but reading them as carefully as any book. So they depend on you, and so do I, the light of your darkness being more important to me than any visual light, since it is the very opposite of blindness. Avalon. I simply wanted just to save your life and have you here amongst our brothers as a friend and knight of our peace, but no sense or wisdom or persuasion could bend your mind of perfect obstinacy. But no sense or wisdom or persuasion could bend your mind of perfect obstinacy. You simply had to risk your life, your future, and our happiness by volunteering as a victim to the dragon. And here you are, the dragon slayer, having rid our realm of the most evil menace, and is now the first of our knights, and shall be honorary Lord Protector of our queen. My friend and brother, I embrace you with as much affection as I hold for our queen, and thank you for your boldness and the grace of our fate that saved you for our realm and future, to grace it with perpetual harmony. My friend, you are my equal. This is the finest day of Camelot, and the triumph of the goodwill of Avalon, so golden in this perfect moment, that I humbly dare express the wish that it might show some lasting grace in perpetual longevity for all eternity. Thus spoke the king, and dubbed Sir Lancelot, the first and highest of our knights, and special Lord Protector of our queen, and of the land of everlasting youth and beauty, in perpetual honour, glory, and romantic chivalry, in sustained idealism forever.